Imagine being golf's brightest star, even being hailed as the next Tiger Woods, and then suddenly vanishing from the spotlight for a decade. Rory McIlroy was a four-time major champion, global icon, and the face of modern golf. But for nearly a decade, he was something else too. The guy who never quite lived up to the hype. Critics called him mentally fragile and distracted. They wrote him off as someone who had his chance and let it slip. But then, out of nowhere, he came back and changed everything. This is the story of how Rory McIlroy took revenge. Not with words, but with a win that silenced everyone. Rory was born to working-class parents in Holywood, Northern Ireland. This was a small town where most people didn't dare to dream big. But Rory? He had big dreams. He didn't just want to play golf. He wanted to be the best in the world. His father, Jerry, noticed it early. Rory would spend hours chipping balls in the yard, mimicking the pros he watched on TV. This dream, however, came with a cost. To fund his golf, Rory's parents sacrificed everything. His father, Jerry, worked 100-hour weeks, cleaning toilets at a sports club in the morning, bartending at Holywood Golf Club during the day, then returning to the club bar at night. His mother, Rosie, raised Rory by day and worked night shifts at a tape packaging factory. Because of their schedules, his parents barely saw each other, but they shared a mission. Later in his life, Jerry was quoted saying, "I had no idea what else to do. We wanted to give our only child a chance." From there, Rory's journey accelerated. At just 9 years old, Rory won the Under-10 World Championship at Doral Golf Resort in Miami, his first major international victory. That win caught the attention of broadcaster Jerry Kelly, who invited him to his TV show. There, Rory famously chipped golf balls into a washing machine in front of a live audience. It wasn't just cute, but also showed his practice, precision, and a talent way beyond his years. At 16, Rory played in his first professional event on the European Tour. His demeanor was composed, even though he was competing against seasoned pros. A year later, he turned professional, and the golf world took notice. His drives were long, his short game sharp, and his confidence unmistakable. By 18, he wasn't just another promising golfer. He was winning tour events and being talked about as a generational talent. It was common chatter that the future of golf might just come from Northern Ireland. But behind the headlines and highlight reels was a teenager carrying the full weight of his parents' sacrifice, and now the expectations of an entire sport. In 2009, Rory won his first professional title at the Dubai Desert Classic. He was just 19, and it led to a buzz in the golfing world. Was he the new Tiger? That same year, he made his PGA Tour debut, and then secured his first victory in the U.S. at the Quail Hollow Championship in 2010. This made him the youngest international winner on the PGA Tour in over 2 decades. Later that year, he made his Ryder Cup debut for Team Europe. Though he had once dismissed the Ryder Cup as an exhibition, that week changed him. The intensity, the team atmosphere, it lit something inside him. Europe won, and Rory was getting hooked to the high of winning. Then came the 2011 Masters. Rory led the field after 3 rounds, stepping into Sunday with a 4-shot lead. But what followed was one of the most painful collapses in major championship history. On the back 9, his game fell apart. He carded a triple bogey at the 10th and a 4-putt double on the 12th, derailing his round and finishing with an 80, falling from tournament leader to a tie for 15th. He walked off Augusta in tears. But just 2 months later, he returned to the US Open, and this time, he wouldn't go back disappointed. At Congressional, Rory played some of the best golf of his life. He didn't just win, he dominated. He delivered an 8-shot victory and set a new tournament record with a score of 268. At 22, he was a major champion. Rory's next majors didn't come easily, but when they came, they made a statement. In 2012, he won the PGA Championship at Kiawah Island. He won by 8 shots once again, his game looking so effortless and fluid that it left the fans stunned. Then came 2014, his golden year. He won the Open Championship at Royal Liverpool, holding off Sergio Garcia and Ricky Fowler in a final round grind. His play was a masterclass in composure. That same year, he also won the PGA Championship at Valhalla, marking his 4th major win. This win was different. He had to battle for it, going head-to-head with Phil Mickelson in the final holes and playing in near darkness. He later said it was the most satisfying win of his career. By the end of 2014, Rory was world number 1 with 4 major titles to his name. He had endorsement deals with brands like Nike and Omega, and Forbes listed him among the highest-paid athletes in the world. All of this, and he was only 25 years old. But with success came distractions and personal turmoil. In 2014, Rory ended his engagement to tennis star Caroline Wozniacki after the wedding invitations had already gone out. He admitted he wasn't ready for marriage. It wasn't just a private decision, it became a headline. And in the middle of it all, his game began to reflect the chaos. As new stars like Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka, and Dustin Johnson rose to power, Rory's reign started to slip. He missed cuts, his swing changed, and he lost his conviction. Still, through it all, Rory kept showing up. He kept grinding, but the majors somehow stayed out of his reach. And that's what made it so hard to understand. How could the same man who won 4 majors in just 3 years suddenly go a whole decade without one? How does the future of golf become the forgotten star? For nearly 10 years, Rory was kind of stuck in a strange limbo. He had wins, big ones too, but the majors, the ones that mattered most, kept slipping away. And that haunted everything he did. As time passed, the question wasn't just, when will he win again? It became, will he ever? After almost a decade of close calls, doubts, and frustration, something shifted in him. Rory had spent years under the weight of expectations, trying to force a breakthrough. But in 2024, he stopped forcing it. He didn't announce a grand comeback. He just quietly went back to the basics of golf, refocused, recalibrated, and recommitted to the game that had defined his life since childhood. It's interesting to note that in 2024, things shifted off the course too. In May, Rory filed for divorce from his wife, Erica Stoll, citing that their marriage was irretrievably broken. But just a month later, he withdrew the papers, and the couple announced they had reconciled. Rory said they had resolved their differences and that they realized staying together was the best path forward. For the first time in a while, there was clarity in his personal life and in his game. That year, the results of this newfound clarity started showing. He won the Wells Fargo Championship for the 4th time in his career, which was the perfect launchpad for what was to come. In April 2025 came Augusta National, home of the Masters tournament. Rory had come close before. He'd finished in the top 10 multiple times, but this was the one major that had always slipped through his fingers. But this time, there was no second guessing. He went head-to-head with Justin Rose in a sudden death playoff. On the first extra hole, Rory sank a clutch birdie putt to win the 2025 Masters tournament. With that win, he became only the 6th golfer in history and the first European ever to complete the career Grand Slam. The major that had haunted him for over a decade was finally his. For years they said Rory McIlroy's moment had passed, but Rory didn't argue or explain himself. He waited and put in the work. And when the time came, he answered with a win. Because revenge doesn't always come with noise. Sometimes it arrives quietly on a Sunday in April with one perfect swing.